Zazubaar. Whoa, that was big. Hello, everyone. I am Zazubaar, a.k.a. Bill Worster, and welcome to this week's episode of the Demons from Outer Space. Joining me, as always, the enigmatic Super DM64.
Hi.
Better known as Dillion McCandless. What is enigmatic? Enigmatic is like enthusiastic, charismatic, and I only think that because it sounds like those words.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what the definition of enigmatic is, to tell you the truth.
I really hope it's something bad now, because that would be hysterical. Like, somebody looks it up while they're listening to this, and I just, like, gave you the biggest, like, criticism ever. Like, the biggest burn, and neither of us know that I just burned you.
We're writers, folks.
We are, and we just did some major writing, which we'll announce at the end of the show.
I typed it into Google. Apparently it means difficult to interpret or understand.
Does it really?
No, but here's the thing. It's not the kind of difficult or hard. It's not the difficult to interpret or
No, well, you're proving it right now.
When I said difficult to interpret or understand, you thought I meant like, but actually.
Yeah, I thought you were fucking retarded.
But if you let me
we're doing the podcast.
But if you let me finish the definition, it is difficult to interpret or understand, semicolon, mysterious.
But you don't. That doesn't work for you anymore now because everybody knows what you look like. You're not mysterious anymore. You've been revealed. You're like Hellboy in Hellboy 2. You're not mysterious anymore.
My God, my mystique.
My face. First, so Dylan, I don't know if I'd call you enigmatic. You're actually more comprehensible than I am at points, so I don't know if that's fair. I think I'd call you sardonic. No, I don't think that's accurate either, because I don't know what that means either.
Damn it, Bill.
I know what it means, but I just don't. The definition isn't coming to me.
From now on, whenever you write something, I'm going to check those definitions. Because apparently you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
It's like every word is misused, like fucking the alien, meaning the guy who runs McDonald's.
And I'm just like, Bill, none of these words are what they actually mean.
It's just like a fucking gibberish. Oh, okay, so here's what sardonic means. It actually fits you perfectly. Adjective. Grimly mocking or cynical. I would say that's you in a nutshell.
All right, yeah, that works.
I would say Dylan is very sardonic.
Now I know.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Hoes.
Wait, what?
Real American hookers. I used to do that to Nicole all the time when I was hanging out with her, and it pissed her off to all forms of hell.
When you said G.I. Hoes?
She would say something, and then she's like, now I know, and I'm like, knowing is half the battle. G.I. Hoes, real America. Because I thought that was funny.
I see.
She did not find it funny. Not out of like some like she thought it was sexist or anything. She just thought it was annoying, and then I did it like constantly.
Did you find it funny, audience? Did you find it funny?
Yeah, audience. Do you find G.I. Hoes, real American hookers to be funny? Because I enjoy it. And I came up with this bit before I saw the Family Guy bit, G.I. Jose. Real Mexican hero.
Real Mexican hero. Andres would appreciate that joke.
He would.
He is a lover of Mexican jokes.
That beautiful little Mexican child.
I would just like to point out that Bill just called Andres beautiful. Blast gets away.
I know he listens to this show. I can't wait to hear his reaction to me calling him a beautiful Mexican child. Only one of those things is accurate because he's the only thing that's true in that statement is that he's Mexican.
He is neither a child nor does Bill find him beautiful.
No. He's older than me, and I don't find him attractive. I mean, I find him, but I don't. And I'm not saying that as like a burn against him, calling Dylan enigmatic. But
you're not saying he's unattractive.
I just don't care. It's not that I find him unattractive. It's that I just don't care. Like how I didn't care when we were in G-Fest, and I literally paced around our hotel room without a shirt on for like 20 minutes.
Right, yes.
And you guys were just like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I don't remember what we were talking about, but I remember that was a thing and that you guys were judging me for it.
Yeah, we judged you harshly.
So Dylan, how goes life?
Life is going, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You finished Breaking Bad, didn't you?
I did finish Breaking Bad.
Thoughts?
It was amazing. The finale is fantastic. I told Bill the other night that he needs to finish it because he's seen Walter White, but he's never seen Walter White with nothing to lose. Walter Knight.
There's Walter White, and then he becomes Walter Knight.
Walter White, especially at the end of season 5, just reaches like god levels of badassitude, and it's amazing, and everyone should go watch it. The only criticism that I have...
Oh shit, you're going to criticize Breaking Bad?
I am going to criticize.
Do you want to get shot?
I am going to criticize Breaking Bad, and I dare those motherfuckers to shoot me.
Dylan will be waiting on his porch with a double-barrel shotgun, because that's what they do in the South.
That is what we do in the South. Especially when...
Do you have a porch?
What?
Do you have a porch that you could sit on with a shotgun and...
I do.
Shoot fuckers? Do you really? I don't have a porch.
I know you don't have a porch.
Oh yeah, you've been to my house now.
Yeah.
Dylan, you've seen me in person.
Yeah.
My Mystique, no. As if I ever had Mystique.
Bill doesn't have a porch. He has, I guess you could call it a slab.
Patio.
Patio, I guess. But no. What was I talking about? Oh yes, the one criticism I can levy against Breaking Bad as a whole. Remember last week we were talking about it, and I was like, I really hope they bring back up the plane thing, because if they don't, it's going to be a problem. Well, they didn't bring back up the plane thing, and it's a problem.
Yeah, I imagine that would be a problem. Is it just completely dropped?
Yeah, no mention of it ever again.
That's unfortunate. Do you think Vince Gilligan realized how absurd it was and was like, yeah, let's just pretend that didn't happen?
Maybe it becomes a problem, and I was talking to Andres about this, because his whole point was, well, where else would they have taken it? And I was like, I don't know, but it becomes a problem because here we have a series that is so good about not doing things like that, and about always following up on things and wasting nothing. We talked about this at great length last episode.
We did.
And so the one time that they do it, it kind of stands out. There's nothing worse than a single flaw, because when you have a single flaw, it stands out all the
That's all you can focus on, yeah.
And it's sort of a problem, but it by no means ruins the series or anything. It's just something that kind of bugs me even still.
Yeah, I'll get back to it at some point. I just don't have the patience for it right now. Not that I can't. It's just too depressing for me right now. See, right now I'm going through one of my annual phases, and my phase that I go through every time of year this year is my marine biologist phase. Because when I was a kid, I think I've told you about this, I didn't want to be a filmmaker when I was a kid. I didn't really want to be a filmmaker or really a creator at all in any sense until I was 13.
Mm.
Before that, I wanted to be a marine biologist or a herpetologist and study animals and stuff and dive with whales and sharks and hunt alligators in the swamps. I wanted to be like a Steve Irwin type.
Get killed by a stingray.
Yep, indeed, that was my plan. And if I would have ended that way, I would have been a much happier man.
I would have been much happier had I died by that stingray.
And the whole filmmaking thing was always part of it. I remember when I was a kid, my mother once said to me, and I remember this, and I quote, I was like, I want to be a Steve Irwin type, and she's like, no, but you should be a Steven Spielberg type. And I was like, why? And she was like, because you'll make a lot more money. And I was like, oh.
She's right.
She is right. Not that I'm saying I'll ever get to the Steven Spielberg level type, but it is true. Usually filmmakers make more money than, say, a herpetologist. How do herpetologists get paid? They don't have a salary, do they?
I don't know. Who says, hey, pay the lizard guy his money?
Well, I guess they have gigs in a similar way to filmmakers. I mean, because filmmakers don't have a salary either. I love how the two jobs I was fighting between both had unstable. It's like an unstable job market.
I think how it works is if you want to make money being a scientist, you either have to go the professor route and like teach at a college and get like research grants and shit, or you have to like work for a corporation and do your research for whatever their ends are.
Right. Well, I guess you get grants then.
Yeah.
And you do your research with that grant money. Though it usually ends up being easier if you're filthy rich anyway, and you just decide to devote all your time and money to being a researcher, like Matt Hooper in Jaws. Speaking of Jaws, this is my Jaws phase right now. Like right now, I'm rocking a Hawaiian shirt. I'm going to the beach next week, and I have been doing nothing but rewatching old reruns of Shark Week on Netflix. Because I am in fucking shark mode.
I think everybody goes through a shark phase right now. This is when sci-fi does all their shark movies.
Well, no, more than that, Shark Week's coming up in a week and a half, and I'm fucking ready. My body is ready for Shark Week.
All right, then.
Shark Week is love. Shark Week is life.
Don't start that, Bill.
Oh, I am totally doing that with Shark Week now.
Damn it, Bill. Jose Garcia listens to this show. You know what you've just started?
It's all ogre now.
You don't understand the implications of your actions, Bill.
What would be the line? It's all...
No, knowing Jose Garcia would be a bunch of Jaws the Revenge jokes.
Yes, it would be. It would be.
He really loves...
See, Jose Garcia loves bad movies, and he's a very kindred spirit in that way.
Mm-hmm, yes.
And,
only he, like, legit loves them, like...
he likes them. As films. Like King Kong Lives, likes that movie.
He demands...
And I do too. I like the first 20 minutes of it.
He demands a sequel to Kazam.
Face Off, he's a big Face Off fan.
Well, I like Face Off.
As, like, legitimately, or as, like, a bad movie?
No, I love the hell out of that movie.
Really? Do you?
I can't get enough of that movie. Oh, John Woo. John Woo, he's like...
That's a John Woo movie?
I think it's John Woo. If I'm not mistaken. I mean...
Hard-boiled, that is not. What was I going to say? But anyway, so I'm going through that phase right now. And it kind of calls back to that time in my life where I wanted to dive with sharks and all that kind of stuff. Now I know that I could never do it because of other things I've said on the show in regards of my fears.
Right, now you've... Like, wait a minute. I hate the ocean.
No, I love the ocean. I fear what dwells within it.
I hate...
as I said, I'm not afraid of being attacked by a shark. It's just the massiveness of it just terrifies me.
It's like, wait a minute. I hate sea life. It's like that joke that we kept having, like we were going to meet in person and then we were all going to be like, wait a minute, I hate these guys.
Indeed. But I love the ocean. You know, I grew up on an island, so it's kind of hard not to. Though, as you saw, it's not like a traditional island, so to speak.
All right, then don't let Bill fool you. It's not like the Bahamas over there. No.
No, it's like it's Manhattan light, basically.
When he says island, when you say island, most people think fucking like Gilligan's Island.
I mean, you saw water.
I mean, there's water, and there be whales there, but
I mean, we had to go over a bridge in order to get out of it, to get off of it.
And that was the point when you were telling us that there were whales, and I was like, there be whales here.
Not that we actually saw whales, but I'm like, there are whales in there.
I'm just like, there be whales here.
Not a lot of them. I think it's mostly like porpoises and dolphins, and every now and then you'll get a retarded humpback who goes in there. He's like, where am I going?
Oh, good.
Why is the water so shallow?
Truly, the retarded humpback is a majestic creature.
It drowns and it drowns itself by accident.
Not even...
I don't want to blow my spout. That's what everybody else does. I'm a hipster, yo.
Oh, but God, a whale that's crazy.
But the retarded humpback, you're gonna drown. I don't care.
A whale that's...
Drowning is for the mainstream dudes.
Oh, God.
You are not well spoken, are you?
A whale that says, yo, quick, stop it from reproducing.
Well, humpbacks are, like, endangered anyway, so you really don't have to try that hard to not get them to fuck.
Oh. They're just not that into each other. Those crazy.
Nope.
Humpback motherfuckers.
Those fucking humpback motherfuckers.
Quasimodo whales.
So anyway, yeah, it's almost Shark Week. It's the time of the shark. Dylan, are you excited? Are you ready? Is your body ready?
I don't know, Bill.
For Shark Week?
Clearly, I don't prepare for Shark Week in the same way that you do.
I prayed by my bed every night. I love Shark Week so much. My dad came in and called me a faggot. And slapped me in the face. I'm crying now, and my face hurts.
Shark Week is love.
Shark Week is life. I would totally do that. I would totally do that with Shark Week.
Would your dad come in and call you a faggot and slap you in the face?
No, my dad wants a Shark Week.
I don't know, man.
This is my swamp now.
What
do you think he was referring to when he said that?
I would just be...
You think he was talking about the room, the kid, or the kids, you know?
I don't know. There was a version of that.
Special parts.
There was a version of that with Heisenberg, and he said, "Stay out of my territory."
Did he fuck a kid up the ass?
Yes, he did. You're damn right.
Hey, Walt, did you fuck that kid up the ass? You're goddamn right. Walt, that's pedophilia and statutory rape. You're goddamn right.
Well, you're going to jail now.
As if that's like the least of his, like as if like that wasn't a concern already. Him
Right.
going to prison.
Walter White's not
like,
worth it.
what else is new?
Walter, are you?
Tell me something else that's going on that I don't already know about.
Walter, are you aware that you're going to prison now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you cool with that? Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
All right.
I'm Bryan Cranston. I'll do fine. Who?
True, you are Brian. Wait, what? You're not supposed to be aware that you're an actor?
Well,
I am, because I'm Heisenberg.
And I'm Bryan Cranston, so fuck you. Alright?
This guy makes Chuck Norris look like a pussy.
Oh my god, did you hear that joke that Chuck Norris was born on a certain date, and on that date, and on the day after that, on the date following that, in the 1940s, is the day that Germany surrendered?
No.
It's true. I at least that's what the joke said, and I thought that was hysterical.
My god. They have a wunderkind.
Oh, he has un chin under his beard, Colonel Hogan.
Oh, Colonel Hogan.
He needs a license to wear his pants. No, Schultz, that's not the joke. Oh! Like the Fuhrer? No, the Fuhrer doesn't have that as a thing. He wouldn't have to have a license because he owns the country.
The Fuhrer was born on 420.
Is that true?
Yeah. 420 is Hitler's.
Oh, that's fucked up.
420 is Hitler's birthday.
420, blaze it or raise it.
And he also apparently invented meth, so whatever.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, that is true, that's right. What was the story behind that again?
It was designed to, like, make his soldiers, like...
Oh, wasn't it like they'd be awake longer?
Yeah, because actually this is fucked up, there are, like, some corporations, I saw this on a documentary on TV one time in, like, some Asian country, I don't remember which one.
That's always a great way to start, like, a factual piece of, like a story.
In the far...
Like something that's presented as fact.
In the Far East.
One of them there Oriental countries.
In the Far East. Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. No. What happened was this company...
Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
There was this company, and apparently meth wasn't illegal there, right? And they gave their employees some, like, kind of meth, some form of meth, because it made them more focused.
It's fucked up. Is that what it does? Doesn't it? I thought it, like, made you die.
I guess there are, like, different kinds, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. It's not Blue Sky. It is not.
No, it is not that pure.
It ain't that pure. They don't try to keep their flies out of their meth.
No. That's what happens.
Speaking of Bryan Cranston, I just this is something we can talk about. I just bought something that you had for quite a while. I just bought Godzilla: The Art of Destruction this week.
Ah, yes. But what is the connection with Bryan Cranston?
You're lying.
So, Bill, briefly review Godzilla: Art of Destruction, even though I know you haven't finished reading.
I've read a total of 25 pages. It's fucking awesome. It's everything you'd want it to be. Well, it's not everything I'd want it to be. What it's lacking is I wanted to know more about the story concepts that were thrown out. Mm-hmm. See, because that's my thing. I mean, sure, the art and everything is all beautiful, and seeing all the rejected Godzilla designs is funny. But I'm not really a art guy. I'm more of a story guy. So I was kind of disappointed that they don't really go into I mean, they go into some of it, but I wanted for them to go more into like all the script ideas that they scrapped, because they scrapped a lot.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I mean, me personally,
that script was rewritten like 7 times.
Me personally, I wasn't really expecting it because the book was called The Art of Destruction.
Well, that's the thing. It's not about that. But they get into some of it, so I kind of wanted to know if they were going to get into some of it. I kind of wanted them to go into all of it.
Yeah, that was the thing. I was actually surprised how much of it they actually did go into. So
because they did the whole thing with the ice and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was interesting. Because there are kind of 2 versions of that. One of them is, instead of having the mine in the Philippines where the Godzilla bones are, instead it was supposed to be they find the bones in the ice. But apparently there was another version where they just found Godzilla in the ice, as well as the Muto. Mm. And that woke them up.
Which is very...
I'm kind of glad they didn't use that. That's kind of...
It's very much dopey. Like, I think 94 did that.
94 did that. Well, not even that. It's just kind of like... You know, that's like Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. That was the story of that movie.
That was the story of Gamera. Originally.
I mean, the whole ice thing is kind of cool because that happened a lot in Godzilla, where he would get trapped in ice.
Yeah, it's kind of a neat little, like, Raids Again reference.
Yeah.
Raids Again.
So King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah, a little Raids Again / King Kong versus Godzilla reference. I wouldn't have minded if they had found the bones in a glacier.
Well, the bones would have been fine, but actually, I kind of like that Godzilla is left alone to his own devices.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I had to take a drag.
No, you said you read the first 25 pages. You haven't gotten to the Muto life cycle yet, have you?
No, they mentioned that already.
They did? Yeah. Oh, did they go into, like, detail?
I mean, not excruciating. Do they? Later on?
I think so. If you're not up to the point I'm thinking of, then yeah.
I mean, I know it anyway. I mean, it's the whole thing of like they would attract a Godzilla to them and then double team him and kill him, and then put their eggs inside of the carcass as a nice radioactive nest.
Yes.
Oh, my mother is screaming. Oh,
What a shock.
Oh, Jesus, what a weird thing to say, Bill. So here's something interesting we can kind of do. Well, I think the book is brilliant. I think it's very well written, very like reverential towards the production, but also, which it kind of has to be. I mean, it's a tie-in thing. They kind of have to talk up the production.
They're like, this is the best movie ever.
I mean, they're basically like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, nothing else is as good as this. That blowjob you got the other day, not even as good as this. And when offered the choice between a blowjob and Godzilla, I might debate myself.
And if you're like me and you were reading it when you first saw the movie, you're like, you're damn right it is.
My only problem with it, and again, this is kind of inherent with tie-in stuff. Like, they go on for pages about how amazing Gareth Edwards is. Like just sucking his dick. I mean, he is great. One of the best things about the movie is how incredibly well directed it is. But I don't know. Like, let's give Godzilla some credit.
So yeah, the star of the movie, maybe you heard of him, but how about that Edwards?
How about that British motherfucker? No, but I think it's extremely well written.
Also Bryan Cranston's there, but Edwards, man.
Fucking Gareth Edwards.
I really like the foreword.
It is really good. I like the reason why he felt the need to do it. I thought that was funny.
It's made even more amazing by the fact that it was written by Gareth Edwards, you guys.
Gareth fucking Edwards. The greatest filmmaker around.
We got a badass over here. We're making it sound as if we're not that into Gareth Edwards.
No, not at all. I love him. I think he's a sexy man.
All right.
I think he's a beautiful, powerful man.
All right then.
Now he's got that whole like Ricky Gervais thing going with the gruff beard and like he's kind of short.
I like that they talked about the whole like the original like Godzilla 3D Yoshimitsu Banu shit.
Yeah, they give you the whole history, which I mean I knew that anyway.
Right.
But I like that they went into that. I would have liked to hear more from Brian Rogers, because he was one of the... I mean, I remember doing a video about his say on the film before Gareth Edwards was even signed on to the project.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it like it's fucked up to read that book, though? What's fucked up about it for me is I read all this history, and I'm like, oh, I remember doing a video about that. Oh my God, the movie's out. Jesus, I'm getting old.
Yeah, no, I know when they were talking about, like, the Comic-Con footage, I'm like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, about that.
I remember being pretty pissed off.
Well, you know why the teaser trailer was never released, right? The first one, the one with all the narration and stuff.
I don't even think Andres got to see that one, did he? And he lives there.
The Godzilla teaser trailer?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't think we were friends with him back then.
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe he did see it, that motherfucker.
I don't know. I don't care. Oh no, I'm kidding. I didn't care about him back then. I had no stake in him whatsoever. He was not a beautiful Mexican child to me back then. Now he is my beautiful Mexican child.
Digging that hole deeper.
Isn't that what I always do? I just dig deep holes for myself and then cry in the bathroom about them later.
Yeah. This is gonna be like the Liam Neeson thing all over again.
Somebody's just gonna like somebody's gonna Photoshop like me as like fucking like Mary or something, and like Andres is Jesus, like baby Jesus, my beautiful Mexican child.
Yes, somebody should do that. Hey, Jose.
No, don't do it. That's fucked up.
Do it.
As if that's any worse.
Do it.
As if that's any worse than anything else we've ever done. Or had him do. That dude, that poor motherfucker. We have raped his soul with... Not me. No, I'm not putting myself in there. You motherfuckers. Asking him to do some fucked up shit. With Photoshop.
I have no regrets.
You've treated him like a dirty whore. It's not right. I'm not going to stand for it anymore.
Well, then sit down.
That was a great comeback. But anyway, here's something we can do that will be fun. Grab your copy of Art of Destruction, will you?
Must I?
Yes.
I'm tracing, Bill.
Grab your copy of Art of Destruction, Dylan.
Damn it.
And open it up.
I am looking at the beautiful cover.
Yeah, it is sexy. Have you taken the dust jacket off?
No, I have not.
There's a cool image underneath. Take it off. Take it off, Dylan.
What if I don't want to take it off, Bill?
Take it off anyway. Slowly.
Oh yeah, that is nice.
Isn't that nice? It's like that back profile of Godzilla.
Yeah.
I like this Godzilla silhouette a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think he looks really good in silhouette.
All right, what page exactly are you wanting me to turn to, Bill?
Well, Dylan, I would like to draw your attention to probably the most, like, the part of the book that everybody is the most interested in. And that, of course, I am referring to is the sound design. No,
Oh, you're talking about the centerfold, aren't you?
Oh, I'm talking about the centerfold, all right. I want you to turn your page. We're like, it's like that 70s show. Instead of looking at porno mags, though, we're looking at fucking rejected Godzilla designs.
Oh.
I think it might be kind of fun if we go through all these different, since we both have the book now, if we go through all the the different Godzillas and kind of give our thoughts on them. Because I don't think I've talked about any of these on recording yet, so this kind of seems like an apt time since I'm talking about Art of Destruction.
This will be interesting. What would be even more interesting is if the people at home could see them as well, but of course they cannot.
Yeah, if only there was some way for me to take these pictures and put them in the video, but
if only.
Alas,
this
is a podcast.
This is not a perfect world, unfortunately.
This is not a perfect world.
So real quick,
if you have a copy of Art of Destruction,
real quick, everybody, if you're listening to this and don't have a copy, get your ass over to Amazon, order one, and in about 2 weeks,
or go to Barnes & Noble. I actually bought mine at a store. I left my house and bought this motherfucker.
I would never do that because I actually get things cheaper by ordering them on Amazon.
Where the fuck is the section where they show all the unused Godzilla concepts?
It's farther back than you would think. It's right after page 85.
Oh, it's that far in?
Mm-hmm. And actually, even before that centerfold, there are some unused that they start to go into the Godzilla design. Because on page 85 and a little bit of 84, there is a Godzilla head.
Oh, yeah, let's start here. Well, first things first, before that, there's some unused Muto designs that I kind of like.
Well, then let's go back a little bit.
Well, actually, go back even before that Muto page. There's some unused Godzilla stuff there. So if you have your copy of Art of Destruction open...
You are referring to page 80?
80, yes.
Because
that is a cool-looking Godzilla head.
That is a cool look. I would have been okay if this had been the head in the movie.
I mean, see, it would have worked better, though, if their Godzilla was more like the original, where he was kind of this unemotional destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
This one, he needs to be a little more humanized because he's more, he's more noble and stuff. And that's something they get into a lot, is they wanted their Godzilla to look more noble.
But I would argue that it seems as if they would have had an easier job making him noble with a more classical head design, because here's the thing about the new head design. And they managed to pull it off beautifully. But it's a lot more angular.
Yeah.
And when things are more angular, it's harder to get that sort of like emotion through. It's like your eye looks at it and you think of it kind of like, I don't know, like a shark.
Well, that's what I think too. Is that that's something that it definitely, and they struggle with that later when they get into to hammering down their final Godzilla design.
Mm-hmm. It looks like even from the beginning they were playing around with the idea of the exposed webbing between the jaws, which is something that I have grown very used to, actually.
I mean, I just think it's kind of natural.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're going to do a Godzilla in CG that's supposed to look like a real animal, you kind of have to do that, right? If he's supposed to be a giant reptile.
Well, I mean, it evokes something a bit more dinosaurian. You could go without it because, not all reptiles, and there are reptiles running around all over the place that don't have that. But it evokes something a little bit more dinosaurian, and so it's sort of, what I like about their design is that it's a mixture of a lot of different elements. Obviously, it's very bear-like. Edwards talks at one point about how they wound up drawing a lot of inspiration from, like, eagles when it came to the head.
I like that a lot. I like that they looked at eagles. He definitely gives off that impression, that very, like, eagle-like expression.
Mm-hmm. I definitely think so.
You
could pop a beak on there, and you could pop a beak on there, and he'd look just like Rodan.
Indeed. I think of all of the designs that they considered, the one that we got is the best.
Mm.
Even of the two that were based more on classic Godzilla,
mm-hmm.
I think in terms of looking good in CGI, the one they used is the one that would have worked best.
However, I do like this head on 80. On page 80.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this one... I agree. If they would have used this, I would have been fine with it.
I don't think I would have had as hard of a time adjusting to the design either if they had gone in a more classical direction, because that was the one thing about the movie, is that it took me a while to fall in love with this design.
Yeah, I wasn't immediately taken with it either.
I do like at first I didn't, but I like the fingers on the design that they went with. They're very...
I do too. I love the shot where he attacks the bridge and he like grabs on to the cable.
Yeah.
And he like tries to use it to support himself. That shows to me that he was like a classic Godzilla.
Yeah.
I also I know a lot of people criticized him for being too fat. I really don't see that point.
Not anymore. Now I just see him as being muscular. The thing is, back when all we had was still images, there were a couple shots that made him look a little chunky. Because you remember I kept saying he's a little chunky. But when you see him in motion in the movie, and you see it, obviously CG is a bit more fluid. The problem is that Godzilla fans are used to suits. They're used to it looking pretty much the same, no matter like what angle you shoot it from. Whereas with a CG model, it's more fluid. It looks different from different angles, and so.
Well, that's it. Is that yeah, exactly. It can change because the creature isn't limited by the mobility of a person. It can basically do anything within the anatomy of its own. Like, you don't have to worry about it doing something and then killing the person wearing the suit.
It's kind of like when people were debating way back in the day about whether or not they wanted the design to be standing upright or if they wanted it to be more slanted. I was like, it's CG. He can bend over. It doesn't really
exactly.
It doesn't really matter. He can straighten up or bend over. He can be both, just depending on the situation.
Yeah, exactly. I feel the same way. I mean, I think there are still shots where he looks a little too hunched over. I don't love the shot of him in the background after he destroys the bridge, and you see all the boats, and and he roars in the background. He looks really hunched over.
But then you have like that last roar at the end, which is one of my favorite shots. Right before he goes back into the sea. That's very classic. He's standing straight up, got his head tilted back.
Well, when he first appears, it's a very classic Godzilla moment.
Mm-hmm.
He's standing completely upright. You know what one of my favorite shots of the movie is, and it's so simple, is just like that shot of him walking past the camera with the flares going down.
Mm-hmm.
Not the shot from the trailer of the flares cascading down his already erupted out of the sea body.
Yeah, you're
I mean of him walking past it.
Yeah, you're talking about the shot where you like see like his side, like you see his arm and like a little bit of his back.
Right, and there's still water coming down and everything.
Right before the soldiers open fire and the people on top.
You're like, what the fuck?
The people on top of the building start like freaking out, like, oh my god.
That's a giant lizard eagle bear dog thing. That's what they call Godzilla in this universe. Not Godzilla. They call him giant evil lizard bear dog thing.
Indeed.
But I like this head.
I do like this head. I think one of the reasons we've been talking more about the design that's actually in the movie than this head is the fact that the design from the movie is also on this page.
Yes, it is. But I like that. You know what? The head that we're looking at actually kind of looks like the '94 Godzilla that Stan Winston did.
I can see that. It's very Heisei.
Yeah, but so is the head they ended up with anyway.
Mm.
With the more squarish jaw and the more rounded features, as opposed to a more angular crocodilian look with Millennium, which is weird because everything else on this Godzilla looks very crocodilian.
I feel like they have a balance going on in terms of the head. I feel like it's got elements of both.
Everything it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it has elements of both. And there are also shots where you could swear and this goes more to the characterization, I think. There's also shots in the movie where you look at him and you think, Showa?
Yeah, very much so. So anyway, let's move on, shall we? Well, the next page after that...
I can't wait for the sequel when he flies.
Yeah. And then when he starts drop-kicking other monsters. A happy moment.
I want to see this
dancing. He's fucking dancing and shit.
I want to see this version of Godzilla have a happy moment.
That's what they should have done. So here we have the Mutos. We have the finished female on the left, and then we have a rejected concept to the right. I actually like the reptilian Mutos better than this more armored look that they have here. Not the final one. I mean like the one to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Because they also show you rejected designs of, like, the reptilian Mutos. But I like this more armored look, too.
Yeah.
But, again, I prefer the reptilian Mutos over this, so that I prefer the actual one that they ended up with. With the Mutos, I think that the design they ended up with is the best of what they were going to have.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything else just looked too weird. You know what I mean?
Well, the first designs that they were playing around with are very. It looks like. It looks like you take a creature that the way their endoskeleton would look, but you make it an exoskeleton. You know what I mean? Like.
Oh, I hear you.
Those very first designs, which I don't think we've gotten there in the book yet.
No.
But yeah, there are some very early Muto designs that have this weird, like, I don't know, they almost look like crustaceans, only they have, like, bones on the outside of their bodies or something. It's very strange.
Yeah, I mean, they also played around with making them reptiles, and I think those were cool looking too.
Some of these early ones even have back plates, kind of like what Godzilla has, only they're more Stegosaurus shaped.
Yeah. I see those too. But speaking of that, let's go to Godzilla then. Who's on the next page? I don't understand this design.
This looks more like...
So, Gareth Edwards' little thing here says that the first thing they tried to do was retain a more classic look, and I don't see that in this at all.
No. What it says is that we wanted a long neck because that's classic. But what he says about the head specifically is that they wanted to do like a serpentine thing.
And
I
don't see that at all.
I mean, I can see what they were trying to do, kind of, but it's not Godzilla.
No, it's not at all.
I wouldn't mind a Titanosaurus looking something like this.
Yeah, I can see Titanosaurus looking like... And not to criticize them, I mean, they realize that it didn't look like Godzilla, and they say that, but...
Right, one of the things Gareth Edwards says at some point in this book is that you go down all these different design paths, knowing full and well that you're probably not going to use a lot of them because it's not really what you're going for, but you go through it because what you wind up doing is having little ideas. And what they do is they take the best ideas from all of these designs and incorporate them. I think what they got from this design is the texturing on the neck, you know, how it looks like a crocodile's back.
Yes, and I think they get into that, yeah. It does look like that. And I actually like that about it. I like the whole crocodilian bumps on it.
Mm-hmm.
It makes them look more aquatic. But I don't like this design.
No.
Needless to say.
It almost looks like what I would imagine if in this universe Godzilla had been a mutant. It almost looks more like what I would imagine his unmutated form looking like. You know what I mean? Like, because it looks.
I would be okay with this for the Godzillasaurus.
Yeah. I could imagine this getting hit by a nuclear bomb and turning into what we have in the movie, maybe.
I could see that. I also don't like the spines, which look more like they almost look more like shark fins than Stegosaurus fins.
Yeah, we get a lot of strange spines with these early designs coming up.
Yeah, we'll get to the weirdest ones later. There's one where it's like, what the fuck? Because they say, we almost went with this, and I'm like, thank God you didn't, because they look horrible.
Why you do this, Gareth Edwards?
Why you do this, Gareth Edwards?
But that Gareth Edwards, though.
He's a classy act. So Dylan, let's get to the centerfold with this first design here. This one is a mixed bag. This first one here.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not
terrible,
horrible. But there are too many things about it that don't work, that the things that do work get overshadowed. Like, I don't like the spines.
It really feels like this is an in-between photo. Like, it feels somewhere in between, like, classic and what they wound up with, you know what I mean?
And not in like a good... Like, again, the spines don't work for me at all, and I think the head is too small.
This is another example of they kept going for, like, this shark fin shape.
Well, they talk a lot about how they wanted the spines to look, and they kept saying, like, oh, Gareth Edwards didn't want to do the classic, what he called Christmas tree design, where they kind of jutted out to the side and came in at the top, but they played around with that.
And I'm like, why not?
Well, I mean, my favorite, actually, I don't call them Christmas tree, I call them maple fin spines.
Moose would approve.
Or maple leaf spines, where they look like maple leaves.
Yes.
Those are my favorite Godzilla spines. And those are represented a little bit here, but not really.
The thing that kills me about this design is people thought the design in the movie is fat.
Yeah, well, again, what makes it worse is how tiny his head is compared to how massive everything else is.
Well, I mean, the one they went with has a smaller head than the rest of the body. The problem, I think, is the arms, because on the design they went with in the movie, he has, like, big muscular arms, and it
yeah, he has gigantic arms.
In this one, the arms are tiny. It looks like, you know, T-Rex arms, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it really it makes you realize how much fatter the rest of him is.
Yeah.
They also did this thing that they wound up using in the final design of the movie, actually, and I'm still not crazy about it, but whatever. The really bulky neck.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. Because they say that they couldn't go with a long, like the serpentine thing of the long neck, but they ended up like making him look like he has a double chin. By making the head itself really tiny. I don't understand that.
I guess they wanted to avoid Zilla syndrome. They didn't want the head to be too big, maybe.
Yeah, of course, and that's definitely a concern, but I mean, the problem with Zilla, I mean, it's definitely, his head is definitely too big, but that's not the biggest thing that's wrong with Zilla. As long as he's upright, you've already got a major upgrade over Zilla. Which they also talk about how it was kind of a struggle to make a more realistic Godzilla when making Godzilla realistic is inherently a problem.
Especially given the way after 98 they had to be really careful. I'll just put it that way. Fans were very paranoid, and we had a right to be.
Yeah, well, the thing is that they don't mention 98, and thank God. I think that would have been a mistake. So, but they do they kind of...
Like the book just starts, so that other movie was complete shit, right?
Well, one problem I have with a lot of reviews by people who aren't Godzilla fans is like, oh my god, this was so much better than the 98 movie. And I'm like, well, did you like it on its own? I mean, it's still a movie.
Don't just compare it to 98. I mean, that's a fair thing to do. I certainly do. But don't just say that. Why don't you...
I mean, I certainly did that too, but... like, after the initial novelty, it gets kind of like... it almost seems like the only reason this movie is worth anything to some people is because it's better than 98. And I'm like, well, there's more to it than that.
I was happy because recently my little brother finally saw the movie. And I was happy to hear his review, which was, it was better than the other one. And that made me proud.
Oh, he'd only seen 98?
He hadn't only seen 98. There was a point in time when my little half-brothers, who are complete fucking idiots, had only seen 98. And when I found this out one time when I was over there, I promptly showed them the scene from Final Wars where Godzilla kicks Zilla's ass.
Did they get mad?
No. They were like, that's awesome. And so after that, my older half-brother has become something of a junior Godzilla fan, let's call it.
He's older than you, or just older than your other half-brothers?
Older than the other half-brother. I am the oldest child.
Okay.
No, but the older of the two has sort of become something of a junior Godzilla fan, and I guess you could call Kaiju fan in general, because he really loves the hell out of Pacific Rim. And the other one, the other half-brother, doesn't really care, but you know, and we'll watch them. He's more, he can take it or leave it. But the point is, and then I know they've seen Terror of Mechagodzilla because they have Netflix, and apparently they watched that on there. So they've seen that, they've seen Final Wars, and they've seen Legendary.
Yeah.
They have very limited
exposure. Yeah. Well, I remember from my friend Jim, who wanted to come see Godzilla with us because we turned it into more of like a party thing, was like, well, you know, I've never seen a Godzilla movie, so I don't know what to expect. And I'm like, well, you know what, I'll show you.
Expect a giant monster.
You know, well, I was like, well, Jim, it's not the most complex of, like, mythos. I mean, it has its complexities, but it's not a hard concept to grasp. It's not like Star Trek.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Godzilla has a mythos, but it's not as like really intricate as Star Trek. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a giant radioactive dinosaur that goes around killing other giant monsters and attacking cities. Everything else just kind of comes with the rest of it.
The helpful thing is, even if you've never seen a Godzilla movie, you've probably seen it parodied 1,000 times.
Well, that's part of it, is that he knew the basic concept of Godzilla, but then also, when I had everybody over my house before we saw the movie, I just put on a bunch of Godzilla movies, and I would like leave the room for like a half hour and not even realize that they were in there still watching it. So they watched like 5 Godzilla movies, and I didn't even know. So they actually went into it with some knowledge, even though it was their first time. So that was cool.
Any of them say something that surprised you? Like, yo, Bill, this one moment was just like in this other Godzilla movie, and you're like, wait, what? You know about that?
Well, actually, Jim was kind of angry, because he was like, I can't believe they made Godzilla the good guy. And I was like, oh my god. He knows.
Hey, newsflash. That's happened before.
Well, I was like, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole joke that I was running with every time I came into, like, every time I spoke to somebody who had just seen it, I was like, well, what did you think of Superhero Godzilla? Because it's basically what they're setting up.
I mean, yeah, I mean, and it's even more shocking because I think everybody expected to go into it and get Dark Godzilla.
I mean, and it is, but it's weird because usually Dark Godzilla is made dark by him, but this is the one movie where he's not the thing that makes it dark.
No, it's the crisis at hand.
Yeah.
He is the shining beacon of hope.
Yes, he is the Superman of this ensemble cast of giant monsters.
He's here to help us. We will stumble, we will fall.
Which will make Mothra weird in the sequel.
It's like, hey, Godzilla, you gotta be good. And he's like, I am. And she's like, oh, cool story, bro.
Cool story, bro. Hey, Godzilla. Yeah. You gotta stop fighting Rodan. Who's Rodan? Oh, wait, this is the wrong universe. I gotta go back.
It's that pterodactyl thing over there. Oh, is that what that is? I thought it was Terracuda.
I thought it was the male Muto.
I thought it was fighting Terracuda.
Godzilla, you're kind of stupid. No, I'm just really stoned.
Rodan shows up and he's like, I thought I fought you in the last movie. Rodan's like,
woo!
Rodan's like, so did everyone else.
There was a whole joke about it that people got mad at, and it was a mess.
It was just a big mess all around.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, well, cool story, bro.
Cool story. I'm going to go back to the ocean and not deal with this, because I'm just not interested.
Bye, Godzilla.
That's all. That's the only part of the movie that he's in.
That was Rodan's function, to serve as a commentary on the Rodan confirmed thing. And when everybody's leaving the theater, they're like, when did the kaiju learn to talk?
Hey, did you guys find it weird that there was only one scene in the movie where Godzilla and Rodan were just talking to each other? Never happened anywhere else. The humans never even noticed it. But there was just a scene where they were just talking.
They were just hanging out, like, you know.
They were just chilling.
A couple of buds.
Just shooting the shit.
It wasn't like the fairies interpreting either. It was like straight up.
No, they were just talking.
It was like, yo, Rodan, there's something going on over there. You better go check.
As fucked up as those voices sound, Anguirus sounds like there's something wrong.
Oh, okay, Godzilla.
I'm like, wait a minute, has he suffered a stroke?
What happened to Rodan? What happened to Anguirus?
I mean, Godzilla just sounds like he smoked a bunch of cigars. He sounds almost like the Kool-Aid Man, but fucking Anguirus. I don't know what's wrong, but something is wrong.
Hey, Anguirus, I have throat cancer. You better go check. What?
Ooh! We call him Godzilla.
Do we really?
We call him Godzilla.
Yeah. Ken, Ken, are you alright? No.
I got fucked up last night. Don't even know. You don't even know.
If you knew,
are you alright, Ken?
If you knew, you would
yes,
be like a. If you knew, you would be like, oh, Ken, you need to roll down.
You don't know what's happened to me, Gareth Edwards. You don't know the things I saw.
You weren't there. Why weren't you there for me?
Ken, you didn't ask me to come. You should have known.
I'm not your designated driver.
You should have been. This is a complete psychological breakdown on the set of Godzilla.
Why is this in my life?
Giant monsters are not real. There's no truth in this art.
Why did I take this roar?
Well, because it's your legacy. Your people created Godzilla. It is a Godzilla.
That is a racist. You're very racist.
You are better man, Gareth Edwards. Now, where's my sushi now?
Where's my sushi? Give it to me.
Oh, that's funny. I love the whole Ken Watanabe having a psychological breakdown. Even though they are not real, I wish giant monsters were real. Then I would have a meaning in my life. But don't you have meaning in your life? I mean, you're an actor. No, but this is not real. I wish giant monsters were real.
Ken, that's kind of fucked up.
And then I would let them fight.
Let them fight.
Really, we could nuke the city or let them fight. We could evacuate, we could detract them somewhere else, let them fight. You just want to see giant monsters fight, don't you?
Let them fight.
But anyway, back to Gojira, the Art of Destruction.
When you just said that, you sounded like the guy from that Gigan song.
Gojira. Japanese Louis Armstrong.
Why you do just Japanese Louis Armstrong?
I see leaves of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
I hope there's not like an organization that's like for like preventing like racism against like Asian people, because they're gonna hear our shit one of these.
Of course there is, Dylan. Yes, there is.
Because they're gonna hear our shit one of these days.
As if we're the only ones. Everybody makes fun of his accent in New Godzilla.
And you're like, we are shutting you down.
But we're not an official thing. Let them fight.
We just made you an official thing so that we can shut you down.
Well, thanks, but fuck you.
That's kind of insane that you would go through all that trouble. Fuck you.
We don't like you very much.
Well, I don't much care for you either.
I'm not your guy, buddy.
I am not your buddy guy.
I'm not your friend, pal.
I am not your pal, friend.
What do you think he did the night before that, like, made it so fucked up?
I don't know.
I think he, like, I don't know. What's what's a fucked up thing to do in Japan?
I would assume it has something to do with Heisenberg's life.
Heisenberg is love. Heisenberg is life. Bryan Cranston's on the set like, what?
You talking about me, bro?
Bryan Cranston's like smoking a joint. So what movie are we making today? Oh yeah. Godzilla.
Why does Bryan Cranston sound like Chuck Heston?
Well, here I am on the set of Godzilla. It was not an earthquake, and it was not a typhoon. Get your stinking claws off me, you damn dirty mutos.
I don't know why this is a thing, but I love it.
So the next design that we should talk about is the next one.
Really?
The one following the previous one. This one is not that good. It's a very hunched over Godzilla. I'm not sure if that's all the time or just when he's firing his atomic blast like he is here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when they were still trying to like work in lightning into the atomic blast. Like, for some reason, his spines would, like, shoot out lightning as he was firing it.
Right.
Which is not, like, an unheard of thing that's happened in some Godzilla movies, like in the Heisei series that happens sometimes, but...
I think it's cool as a visual.
Yeah, I just don't think it works, like, all the time.
Right.
Um,
To be clear, you're talking about the one that like is shooting the atomic blast, right?
yes.
And there's like this DBZ like lens flare around his mouth.
Yeah, there's a lens flare coming out of it's like a J.J. Abrams style lens flare coming out of his mouth.
Which is a neat idea, I guess.
I guess. I don't know. This one's just not good. The spines are way too big. They're way too. They're almost like they're like the classic ones where they're not that pointy, but they're the maple fin spines.
What's wrong with him? Why does its collarbone hang down so low?
Yeah, what the hell's going on? Oh yeah, you're right. What the fuck? It almost looks like he doesn't have any arms, but like he had arms attached at the last minute.
Yeah, the body is really fucked up. The head isn't terrible.
It looks almost like a 62 2000 head.
Also, the idea of the lens flare around the atomic breath is a cool visual. I don't know if I would.
Yeah, the atomic breath looks fine, and the spines are just too big, like they're too long.
Mm-hmm.
And it's too hunched over. I mean, that's really the only thing I can say.
Agreed.
Is the 2014 Godzilla supposed to be green?
I can't tell, honestly. I got the feeling of more of like a crocodile brown.
Yeah, that's what I got too. But when you look at him in shots during the daytime, which there aren't many, he looks green.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a green overcast over him. I don't know. It's weird. It's almost like a 2000 thing. Maybe it's just so dark that it doesn't even matter. But I don't know. This design's all right.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the next one? Though the next one has sparked some interest over Facebook. I don't love this one. I think it's fine. It's definitely Godzilla, but I agree with Gareth Edwards in that it looks too much like a T-Rex.
I don't know. I think it's funny that he says this one looks more like a T-Rex, because there are a lot of ones in here that he likes that look more like T-Rexes than this, in my opinion. But yeah, it is too T-Rexy, and it's also got some sort of weird thing going on with the arms. I don't understand.
Yeah, his collarbone looks detached here too.
I really do. Is this a thing they were considering for a while?
It was like Godzilla wasn't going to have any arms, but they would like be attached during the movie, almost like robotic arms.
The Mutos kill Godzilla, and then somebody's like, "We can rebuild him. We have the technology."
No, we don't. Really, we don't, Ken. Yes, sir, we do.
He is the $6 million kaiju.
He is the $6 million Godzilla.
Don't you mean the $6 million Muto? Oh yes.
That is alright. Kaiju is now a trademarked word. Fuck you, Guillermo del Toro.
Now this one really takes the lightning thing to the next level.
Yeah, this one I actually kind of dig, in that it's coming out of the sky.
Yeah.
He looks gigantic in this picture, though. He's not this big in the movie.
Is he absorbing electricity from the atmosphere, or is he shooting lightning into the atmosphere?
So that's a cool idea. I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense given the origin of this Godzilla,
mm-hmm.
that he would absorb radiation from the atmosphere and then use it in his blast.
The only problem is we're not talking about radiation. We're talking about static electricity, because it would...
Well, maybe it can be interpreted that it's supposed to be like a physical form of radiation. I know that electricity, I know that radiation doesn't look like electricity, but maybe it's the same idea.
I mean, it would make sense in his time, since apparently the atmosphere was more radioactive. It wouldn't make so much sense now when he wakes up today.
Mm-hmm. This one's not bad though. I dig it. I just don't like the head.
Mm-hmm.
I think the head is the biggest problem, honestly. Everything else looks fine.
The head is the really T-Rex part.
Yeah, and it's just that it's so bizarre though, because the whole thing is very Godzilla until you get to the head.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I apologize. I'm eating a banana right now.
I always forget how many times this thing folds.
Yeah, it's annoying. I don't love this design. I don't understand why they felt the need to do it this way.
Hey, here's an idea. Just put all the designs on separate pages. Can we just do that?
Yeah, what the fuck? What is up with this?
Like, center folds are cool, but I don't need it. Unless there's tits.
Yeah, if there's tits, that's fine, but this is Godzilla. I don't need to hide Godzilla from my parents.
Can we... I hope not. Can we move on to the next one? where it looks like Godzilla got liposuction and now there's loose skin hanging from his neck. What's going on here?
You talking about the porcupine one?
Yeah, also he has...
Oh, God, this one kills me. Look at his tail. Look how fat his tail is. That's physically impossible.
Look how ridiculously pointy he has porcupine spikes. Porcupine spikes. This is something I would consider when redesigning, like, I don't know, Anguirus or something. Not Godzilla.
Apparently Gareth Edwards liked this too. He wanted to do it this way. But then somebody, like, with sense was like, that's a really bad idea. Oh, okay.
Well, his exact wording, if I might just read this paragraph, because I think this is key. The idea of doing spikes instead of fins was really attractive. I love the sort of porcupine version, and he looks really aggressive. The problem is it just isn't Godzilla. We had to be really hard on ourselves to avoid creating something cool that wasn't Godzilla.
He does say it that way, doesn't it? Godzilla.
I don't know, I was just doing a British accent. Is that really how he says it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He says it in a very particular way. I hate this one.
Really good, yeah.
It's everything is wrong. The head is weird, the legs are too skinny.
I don't know what's going on with his groin, but something...
He's really happy to see it.
Godzilla's got a kind of a boner going on.
It's true, he's got a fucking boner.
His pelvic bone sticks out far too far.
It looks like he's looking at something too, like, what's going on over there? He's looking at the Muto's fucking or something.
Also, he's got, I think it's just loose skin, but it looks like the neck frill from 98, and I'm not wild about that.
It almost looks like somebody, like, tugged on him really hard. This is pretty ass. I don't like this. I don't care for this sort of thing.
It is pretty ass. Why you do this, whoever drew this?
It doesn't say.
No, it doesn't. I'm like...
Doesn't mean we can't hunt him down and kill him for drawing something that's not in the movie.
Like, why you do this, guy who did this?
Because I felt like it. It's not good enough reason.
Fuck you, then. I feel like the design on this next page is that head we were looking at earlier. Only with a body.
The more classic-looking one with the words written in the background?
Yeah, this one is definitely Heisei right here.
Oh, that's Heisei Godzilla. That just is Heisei Godzilla.
It's like, the arms are a tad stubby, but other than that, it's perfect Heisei Godzilla.
Would you have liked it if they would have used this in the movie, though?
I don't know, I think I would have been content with it, but I would have been like, well, I was kind of hoping they would do something a little bit original, I mean...
Yeah, which is interesting, though, because, we're big Godzilla purists, so it's like, oh, we just want Godzilla. We don't want you to play around with it. But, I mean, that's not even true, because it's like, Godzilla's design has never been consistent.
Yeah, to say that something now, obviously there are examples of things that look too much not like Godzilla, like...
Oh, obviously, we'll get to them.
This design we just looked at, 98.
One later on that just makes me scratch my head so hard it bleeds.
But this is a case of there's going too far, and then there's just not going far enough, and this is a case of just not going anywhere at all. They just took the Heisei design, played with the textures a little bit, and I mean...
Made him skinnier in all the wrong ways.
He's got a nice lizard scale texture going on that
I don't like the face they gave him either. He looks like Derpy. He looks like doesn't he though?
They obviously at this point considered using the ears.
Yeah, which I would have been down with. I don't hate this one. I actually really like it, but it's just I agree with you, this didn't go far enough. Like, I look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's Heisei Godzilla.
It's a shame they didn't use ears, because this is the continuity you could get away with it the most. In all the other continuities, he was a mutated dinosaur, and it's like, dinosaurs don't have ears. But with this, it's like, he's this ancient creature that's not a dinosaur. So you could give him anything you want and just say that's how he evolved.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's how you get away more with the whole, his design thing. I could have lived with this one. I think the spikes should have been a little bigger.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Again,
this is more of like the perfected version of the maple leaf spines, in my opinion.
Again, it's just like cut and paste, color by numbers, Heisei Godzilla. And while I would have been content seeing it on screen, I'm glad that they did something a little bit different.
I'm glad they did something different, but was still Godzilla.
Because the key to this is you're not just making a Godzilla movie. Japan's been doing that for ages. You're making an American reinterpretation of a Godzilla movie.
Right, so that comes with some need for originality.
Indeed. Yep.
You don't just want to regurgitate what the Japanese movies did again, then what's the point? Go watch the Japanese movies, which you should do anyway, but...
The Japanese designs have a very Japanese flavor.
I think that if they would have used this design, I think that it would have suffered from Superman Returns syndrome, where it's just so similar to what we had before that you just don't care.
I can see that.
So I think that I'm glad that they did something a little different. But anyway, let's. Oh no, there's two more. Oh God, these two. There's two more in this section.
Again, I don't know what's up with these. On the first one, the second one doesn't.
This one's not awful.
I don't know what is going on with these tiny ass arms.
Well, this one's very, very, very T-Rex.
It's very dinosaurian. It's hunched over almost completely. Has short arms, a larger head than we see in a lot of these designs.
I like the spikes though. See, it's weird. I like everything except for the head. Pretty much, you know what I mean? I mean, I wish he was a little more upright, but I mean, he's not that hunched over.
If they stood this design up a little bit more, gave him some bigger arms, because I'm just not feeling that.
I'm not feeling those arms either, yeah.
And changed the head, I think this could be the start of a really good Godzilla design. I feel like this is like the first step in a good direction, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, you slap the head from the last one on this one, had him stand... No, that's not right. But let's say you slap the head from, like, the design they went with on this body, gave him some bigger arms,
stood him,
had him stand upright, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
But it's the head, it's the arms, it's the hunched overness, but overall not like... It's not the next one. The next one is just, what the fuck?
The next one looks like I need to kill it and serve it up on a platter, because it looks like a fish. It's just a fish.
Well, it is. Well, they say this one was when we were exploring fish-like fins, which made sense because he swims underwater. No, it doesn't.
For a while, I thought this was going to be the solution.
Well, thank God you didn't think that.
Yeah, because I'm not crazy about them fins.
No, they're horrible.
They're also they're not consistent. They're all shaped differently.
They don't look like spines. They look like protrusions.
This thing just looks like it has cancer.
It does, doesn't it? With the skin, like, falling off?
No, I know.
Which would have made sense, I guess, if he was a mutation in this continuity.
I've been complaining about the other ones having small arms, but you don't give them Popeye arms. Good God.
Yeah, this one has the opposite extreme. It's gigantic. His arms are enormous.
Godzilla would go all like, oh, yeah.
That's not Popeye. That's Randy Savage.
I know, but
and Dylan, they're not the same person.
I was making a separate joke from the original joke, Bill. You see that happens. You see that happens from time to time. Yeah.
I despise this one. I
don't understand.
This one's hysterical though. I mean, look at the head. It's just like he looks like the bratty kid at the playground. He's like, hey there.
He's the kid from Simpsons.
He's that guy. He's like, hey, I'm gonna pick on you.
Decompose.
What?
Decompose.
Decompose. He looks a little bit like Decompose in this form. Yeah, this one's. I'm not feeling this one.
The head is fat yet also slim. It's weird.
It's. Oh, scared. Wasn't afraid to die.
I'm scared. This is verging on 98. The head is a little too big territory anyway.
Yeah, but it's not that bad. The head is not the problem. I mean, the head isn't great, but the rest of it's just the whole thing is fucked up.
Yeah.
Are you glad they didn't go with the blank white eyes? Because I am.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of in all of these designs, aren't they? So
Yeah, which is weird. I mean,
I think maybe
some of
they
the
were...
toys and everything also give him... Like, my Atomic Roar Godzilla from the movie has blank yellow eyes.
I'm thinking maybe they just did that while they were doing this concept art, just to save time, knowing full and well
Because if they had done that in the movie, that shot with Ford would have been ruined.
It would have looked like, I'm gonna kill you, instead of, like, that nice, like, moment that they...
Yeah, like that nice, serene, like... I understand you, man.
Instead, it would have been like Godzilla looking at Ford like, I will eat your family.
I mean, he would have done that anyway, but still.
So let's move on. Again, this just feels like Heisei.
Yeah, this one...
with a slightly more Millennium head.
This one was as he said, this one's a classic look. And he brings up a problem that I agree with. The problem with Godzilla's classic legs and doing it in CG is that they're really, like, stocky.
Yeah, that's something I never thought of until I read this book, right? Like, you can do it in suitmation, but in CG it just doesn't work.
Yeah, he has these really gargantuan thunder thighs. And in classic Godzilla, it's fine because it's a guy in a suit, but when you're doing it in CG and trying to make it look more realistic, it really doesn't work. So I understand why they felt... And I agree, it's like... At least with this one, though, you can't just point to one specific design. Like, with the last one, or with the Heisei one, it was like, that was 91. This is kind of a mix of different stuff.
It's basically Heisei, but it's got a slightly more Millennium head, I think. And also the spines are a little bit bigger, kind of like something you would see in Millennium.
I love these spines. I adore these spines.
These are very nice spines. You can tell which ones in these designs were drawn by people who were actually fans of Godzilla and which ones weren't. This one was drawn by...
We're like, oh, Godzilla, you mean that dinosaur thing, right? No.
This one was drawn by a fan.
Yeah, I like this one. I think that, again, I agree with you. I think it's too similar. Like, if they would have used this one, it just wouldn't have been enough. But I do like this one.
I could see this in a Toho movie, and I would be fine with it.
Yeah, absolutely. In the Legendary movie, though, I think that I'm glad they took it a little bit further.
Indeed.
The next one is pretty awful. It's not...
At least this one tells us who fucked up. This one is from Andrew at Weta. Well, Andrew at Weta.
Let me just tell you something.
I feel like it is similar to the one we wound up with in a couple key ways. The arms are very similar to what we wound up with. They're not too big like that other design.
Yeah, you are right in that way.
But they're not too small like some of the other designs. The legs are very similar to what we got, especially in the...
This is the beginning of the stubby feet.
The stubby feet, yes. The problem is he's entirely too hunched over. I don't care for that snarling grin on his face, and he has those fucking...
He looks like that...
And he has those fucking fish spines. This guy looks like...
It also looks like he's like squinting his eyes really hard, like he's trying to see something really far away.
This guy's like the Joker of Godzilla's. Or you know
he does.
You know who he kind of looks like, Bill?
Who does he look
I'm
like?
looking at this image, and for some reason I'm thinking of Koba.
I can see that. I can totally see that.
I can just see this fake going, human, work.
Human, work. Human, work. Ah! All right, stop yelling.
Caesar, love humans. And King Kong's like, King Kong's like, I'm not Caesar.
I'm a giant gorilla, and Caesar's a small chimpanzee. I'm a giant,
Also,
and you're not even an ape. You're a giant dinosaur.
Also, we are not even kind of in the same universe. I don't understand what's going on.
I'm confused. Why you do this, Godzilla?
But yeah, the major problem with this design is, again, don't care for the face. It's too hunched over. And again, not a fan of them fish spines.
Nah, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it at all.
I like the tail, because it's thick, but it's not, like, too fat.
It's a little too far. I don't think it matches with the rest of it.
Maybe, yeah. Like, I can isolate that tail as a design element on its own, and I don't mind it. But you're right, the rest of the body is a lot shrimpier than the tail is.
Yeah, this one's not atrocious, but it's not good.
So Andrew, you didn't fuck up that bad.
You didn't fuck up that bad, but you fucked up.
And yes, Gareth, I did note the fish-like fins.
Oh dear. Let's. Is the next one actually the next one, or am I missing one?
The next one is where it says, we tried dinosaur-looking designs.
And it almost sounds like he knows they fucked up.
Bird-like things.
Just like we tried dinosaur-looking designs and utterly failed.
You have to steal from nature. Nature had billions of years to design Godzilla. We had 1 year. I like that line.
I love the way you're reading it. He almost sounds like Bilbo from The Hobbit. I'm going on an adventure.
I really like that line. In fact, that's a very quotable line. I'm going to make that my...
Yeah, I'm going to steal that.
I'm going to make that my Facebook status right now. But,
Dylan,
but
I don't know what to say with this one.
It's Zilla with, like, fish spines.
It is literally Zilla with a slightly more fish-looking head.
And fish spines.
It's just bad. It is basically... You know what it looks like? It looks like the Carnosaur from Dinosaur.
A little bit.
With the body of Zilla. If they would have announced this was Godzilla in the new movie, I would have just been like, fuck you, I'm done.
Done.
I give up.
3 out of 10.
No more Godzilla movies, everybody, that's it.
3 out of 10 would not bang.
No, this one's a 0.5 out of 10. Would not even poke with a 15-foot stick. I mean... What? But it's almost like a reverse Zilla. The spines are the reversed waves. Like, they're almost like the same spines as Zilla, but they're pointed the opposite way.
It's strange how Zilla and yet how not Zilla this is.
It is. It's just... I mean, the head is a disaster.
Yeah, what's going on?
I don't see what... There's... Nothing in here even remotely speaks Godzilla. I don't see Godzilla anywhere in here. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Do you feel me, bro?
I feel you. I don't understand.
I just don't understand, man. I don't understand. This one's my favorite to make fun of, though. The
one we're looking at?
Yeah, it's just so... just wrong. Like, it's so wrong you can't even get angry.
It's like, that...
Because it almost seems like they fucked up on purpose. Like, let's put everything in here that's not Godzilla, but we could still turn in as a bad Godzilla design. Like, it's just wrong in all the best ways.
Like, hey guys, I have an idea. Let's do a really bad one. Why? Because it'll be fun.
So, guys, I was smoking some crack on the way in here earlier, and I realized, let's do a horrible one. Let's just do a fucked up Zilla.
Let's do what Roland Emmerich would do if he was slightly less retarded, but still not competent at all.
But let's give him like a Rancor head, because I'm a Star Wars fan.
Yes, and I'm hoping that when people see this book, they might hire me to do Star Wars.
I don't have much faith, though.
I don't think that'll work. No, not at all.
The feet even look like Zilla.
Also, let's give him shark fins. Maybe they'll hire me to do Jaws.
Haha! Jaws 5. Jaws the continues.
Jaws versus Ford Brody.
It will be like a crossover, but without the monsters.
But why is the shark after him? Because his last name is Brody. Don't you know anything?
Go in the corner, Steve.
Those are the rules of Jaws. It's just how it works.
But Ford Brody is a Godzilla character. Stop it, Steve, or I'm going to fire you. I really am.
Are you saying that sharks cannot exist in Godzilla? Are you saying that sharks do not exist in my Godzilla movie? We have sailboats that lived 250 million years ago.
They did not replace sharks. They merely battled them for control of the seas.
So unless you want Jaws 5 to be about Ford Brody being attacked by a sailboat, I suggest you shut the fuck up.
I want that now. Jaws 5 with this Ford Brody just fighting a sailboat. It's not even like he's on the sailboat, like he's like driving like orca, like fighting a sailboat.
I just picture him riding on the back of an orca. He's got like a spear in his hand. On the other side,
he's got a giant beard. He's like wearing a loincloth. He's just become primal.
On the other side, a sailboat coming at him angrily.
It roars like Jaws did in the Revenge movie.
This time, it's really fucking stupid.
And you know why people will see it? Why, Gareth? Because they're fucking idiots. The wankers.
The wankers. I want the sailboat
but
to
yeah,
have
this design's not good.
sailboat to have the voice of Bryan Cranston. No.
He won't approve of it, so I'll basically just get him drunk and record his drunken murmurings.
I'll just take lines from Breaking Bad.
And Godzilla, and all his other films.
Ford's riding his orca, and all of a sudden the sailboat just yells, "I am the danger!"
just screams something from, like, Malcolm in the Middle.
Malcolm! My name's Ford.
Why is Ford British?
Because I said so, Stephen.
Well, Aaron Taylor-Johnson is British.
Aaron Taylor-Johnson is actually British. Although I'm not sure if...
I was shocked to learn that. I was like, Kick-Ass is British?
I don't think he would sound like Gareth Edwards, though.
No, he does, actually.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, I've listened to him in interviews. He's fucking Gareth Edwards.
Really? He's got that high-pitched, very polite English voice.
Oh, yeah, totally. He doesn't have that gruff, like, Cockney, like, "Oi, let's go fuck up Godzilla!"
Oi, sailboat, you bloody wanker!
"Oi, sailboat, suck my dick! You bloody cunt!"
Let's move on, shall we?
Let's move on.
To the next.
So the next page is 3 awesome images and one just like it's almost worse than the last page.
Yeah, over here we have 3 Godzilla heads, 2 of which are really fucking good, and one that's good but has problems. And then on the other page,
Which one? On the other page. Wait, hang on. Let's start from the left and go to the right because I want to save the right for last because it's just so great in all the wrong ways.
he's a blowfish.
Hang on. So the top one, fine. The top one is Godzilla. It kind of looks like the one that they ended up with, but it has a slightly more dinosaurian head.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty close to what they ended up with.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I'm not in love with it, but I do like it.
The next one down to the left, it almost looks like GMK, but with a more smooth, with smoother skin.
It does look a lot like GMK.
Not bad. But it looks too similar to like the one earlier with the fish fins.
Yeah, it does. It reminds me of that, and because of that, I don't like it. Also, it's very shark-like.
Yeah, I can see that,
it,
especially with the scars under the eyes.
Well,
I can
see
see
that. They even gave it rows of teeth.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Well, he'd have to have that anyway, wouldn't he?
I don't know, Bill. Would he?
Do reptiles have that? No, they don't.
Reptiles don't have that.
Okay, never mind. Then I'll stop talking.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Fine then, Dylan. I'm gonna hang up now.
Now this last head I really fucking dig.
Yeah, it's very Final Wars, and I dig that.
Yeah.
It's dinosaurian, but it's still Godzilla.
I'm surprised I dig it because it is very evocative of a T-Rex, but at the same time, it's Godzilla, you know.
I don't like the texture or the color.
No, those could be changed.
But this looks more like a dragon-like Godzilla.
Because
I think that's right.
This thing is it's like jet black, but it has like.
And why is his tongue green?
Is his eye glowing orange?
Yes, it is.
Why?
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 You do just staring at
Why you do it? No, but I do like the head itself. It is very Godzilla-esque, Godzillian.
Yeah, I guess that works. Now, there's absolutely nothing else I'd like to talk about on this page, so let's move on. No.
To the blowfish.
Oh boy.
Blowfish mixed with Titanosaurus. It doesn't even look like they were trying to redesign Godzilla.
I don't. It's basically a piranha.
Yeah.
Stuck on Godzilla's. No, it's not even stuck on Godzilla. It's just a piranha.
It looks more, like I just said, it looks more like Titanosaurus than it does Godzilla, and even then, it's a really shitty Titanosaurus design. I
mean, it's a Titanosaurus design without Titanosaurus's head.
Right.
This is just completely. I mean,
the thing that makes it look like Titanosaurus was the fin thing on the back. Mm-hmm. They weren't even trying for spines at this point. They were just like, hey.
They were just like, whatever, just give them fins. We're not even going to make them bony. They're going to be just like just like these fleshy growths out of his back.
Now, the thing that this gave us, and the people out there in the internet can interpret how they feel about that, the thing that comes from this design that actually wound up being in the movie is the idea of gills.
Gills.
This is the reason Legendary's Godzilla has gills.
I have grown to live with the gills.
Indeed.
I think that they make sense.
If he has...
I guess.
They make sense as long as he has lungs, too. You know, like some sort of, like, really primitive amphibian type thing where you have both.
Well, the problem is, there's this weird line where Gareth Edwards goes, he's underwater and he's got no lungs. Godzilla does have lungs. He has to have lungs.
If he doesn't have lungs, then the rest of your movie makes no sense when he comes out of the water. You're not thinking, Gareth.
Well, you see, my explanation is, Gareth, just stop.
Just stop, Gareth.
Just stop it now.
I am the one who knocks. B to the Ryan, why are you doing this?
B to the Ryan. B Rye, why you do this?
B Rye.
B Rye Craw.
B to the Ryan, C to the Ranston, why you do this?
Oh, let's stop now.
This design is too bad. I can't talk about it.
I love it though. It's like that last one. It's wrong in all the right ways. It's
weird.
It's beautiful.
It's weird though because you know how we've been complaining about like the fat necks. This takes that to.
This just. Dude, it literally looks like they chopped up a fish and stuck it on Godzilla's body.
This takes the fat neck thing to a whole nother level. It looks like right before, like, imagine if this was an actual photograph. It looks like before they took the picture, they stuck like a bicycle pump in his mouth and just pumped it, and like inflated him. Like it looks like he's about to burst.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see some reptilian qualities inside of his face, but otherwise, he's basically a big fish.
I mean, you're a big fish. Think of the children. I mean,
that's all. I mean, that's a lot of fish.
The way a snake looks right after it's
really nothing. Okay.
The way a snake looks right after it swallows a football.
It does. Maybe he's got like a giant like. Maybe he just ate one of the Mutos.
Maybe he's like King Piccolo. Maybe he's about to spit up an egg.
I love this one in all the ways that are wrong.
It would make a great monster for Godzilla to fight.
Yeah, but it's not Godzilla.
Not Godzilla at all, no.
If they said that, oh, this is our Titanosaurus design, what would your reaction be?
I would still hate it, but I wouldn't hate it as much.
I don't think it's... If you said, okay, this is Titanosaurus, I'd be like, I guess,
I mean, the reason I say that is because it is closer to a Titanosaurus than it is to a Godzilla. But it's still a really shitty Titanosaurus design, you guys.
Yeah, it's not a great Titanosaurus either.
If you were going to use this in your movie, you just need to make it a new fish kaiju, call it.
Yeah, you should just call it, like, Fishra.
Yeah, Fishra. Sounds like a name.
Fishra.
Sounds like a name we would come up with. Was that a?
Yeah, we should have a kaiju named Fishra in the Musli universe.
Were you just making a She-Ra reference?
Yes, I was.
All right. Shall we move on?
There's not much else. Oh, yes, there is. There's quite a bit more to say. Yeah, let's move on. This page is interesting.
To this wonderful image that was done by Andrew Baker. Andrew Baker, what's up with the face?
What? He looks like he's like... He looks like almost like he's like just like he's trying to do that noise of just like you're trying to imitate somebody who's annoying you.
Oh, he looks really creepy. He looks like serial killer Godzilla.
It looks like no, this looks like Godzilla mixed with a Titan from Attack on Titan.
I'm going to skin your entire family. That's what this image says to me.
But it's interesting because it actually looks pretty close to what we ended up with.
The head is what's different. The rest of it is pretty similar. Yeah, the gills are in there.
Yeah, but the head's not that. I mean, the face is what's different.
Yeah.
He looks very T-Rex in this picture to me. But with, like, the tip of his mouth looking more like a creepy Titan.
Yeah.
But if you look at the face, you can kind of see the T-Rex from Jurassic Park.
Right. Yeah, a little bit. I can't get over how creepy this thing is.
He does. He's like, hey, you want to see my knife collection?
He reminds me of that guy in the movie Wild Hogs, who right after Martin Lawrence was like,
what a reference.
Right after Martin Lawrence is like, does anybody else get that pre-rape vibe? That big hillbilly that was like, I do.
What do you think of this like color stuff going on over here?
Yeah, so here we have basically the design from Legendary, from the movie that actually wound up in the movie, but with the different color choices going on. Up top we have a very light gray, almost like 54 light gray.
No, he looks like Zilla to me. No, I mean the color, not the design. The coloration is similar to Zilla from the movie.
Under that, we have a very drastic, he's black on top and kind of yellow on the bottom.
He's a crocodile. He's a big crocodile.
Basically, which they did that in the movie. His underbelly is lighter than the rest of them, but not to this...
Yeah, but it's not as drastic as this. This is very obvious.
It's not as dramatic as this.
Also, they did that to the spines as well.
I don't hate it, but...
If they would have used it, it wouldn't have been like a Zilla reaction.
No. It would have been more like more like the feet thing.
Yeah, it would have been a little worse than the feet because the feet aren't always on screen.
True. But what I mean is, it would have just been like a thing that I didn't care for, but it was just like a nitpick, you know.
Right, and then the last one is basically the final design.
That's the one that we had. Then next to this, we have like these ones that I guess were drawn on like notebook paper or something.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out how Godzilla's like brows are going to look, and I like the more dignified eagle look than what's on the next, like what's in the next column.
Yes.
He looks very noble.
Right.
And I like that. I like a Godzilla who looks noble.
All three of these little I don't know what to call them. All three of these little images right here. He has a very dignified...
These busts, I'm going to call them.
Yeah, busts. He has a very dignified look. It's like he's got his chin up high.
He's a dignified, respectable lizard.
He is proud to be an American.
Even though he's technically Japanese.
He's Japanese-American. He immigrated.
Yes, I am from Japan.
I will step on your city now. So let's move on.
Oh, now this. Hi, Bird Godzilla. When did you get here?
All three of these are just awful. Now, here's the thing. You can really tell.
You just dipped into a major, almost like a fucking. What's that cook woman who got busted for dropping the N-word?
Paula Deen.
You just sounded like Paula Deen, like, now you can really tell with this here Godzilla design.
All this butter and oil. No. Yeah, it comes out every now and then. Anyway, you can really tell that...
I'm just busting your balls.
I restrain myself quite often. No.
It's like me with the New York accent. Whenever I get angry, I'm just like, these motherfuckers!
No, but on this page you can really see that whole eagle thing that Gareth talks
but it's
about.
Almost, I don't see eagle. I see like an emu, like a hideous emu.
You know what I think of when I see these? A fucking velociraptor.
I think of that too. I thought the same thing of like the velociraptors from Jurassic Park 3.
The one on the bottom is really cool looking though. Not as a Godzilla design, but it is really cool looking.
But even then, we still have that face of like, I'm gonna kill all your little friends.
I am going to rip out your intestines and eat them like a big plate of spaghetti.
And then I'm going to survive and impale you. Hey, that was a reference to that thing we saw at G-Fest, Dylan.
He looks like he has feathers.
He does look like he has feathers. And people have said that they wanted that, and I'm like, what's wrong with you?
You stupid.
Go home, you're drunk.
You stupid or something.
You stupid or something? What's wrong with you?
The one on the bottom, he almost looks like...
Bitch, are you for real?
The one on the bottom almost looks like he has like one of those Cobra Hood things, but it's just he hasn't deployed it yet.
He looks like a snake, and I don't like that.
I would totally be fine if that was a redesign of Jiris.
No, it's not exaggerated enough to be Jiris.
You could play around a little with it.
Yeah.
You gotta use the Dilophosaurus sound from Jurassic Park.
And then we have the final design, what we have in the movie.
Which looks fucking beautiful here.
It looks great. I want to have sex with it. What?
I have already.
Those pages are stuck together, I'm assuming.
I pried them apart. This, by the way, this is Matt's. Good on you, Matt.
Matt, well done. Did he do any of the crappy ones earlier?
If so, they didn't tell us.
I really want to know who made that fucking Dinosaur-Zilla thing.
One of my favorite pages in that book, you know the page where they show, like, the mock head of Godzilla in the final design?
Yeah.
I think it's fucking beautiful.
Yeah. You put up the poster that came with yours?
The poster?
Yeah, it comes with the poster.
Mine didn't come with the poster.
You sure?
Yeah.
Flip to the very back of the book. To the last, the very last thing.
Yeah, there's no poster back here, Bill.
You sure? There's like a little envelope in mine, and I pulled out a little poster.
No.
No?
No.
Really?
No.
Alright. Well, mine came with a poster, and yours didn't.
Maybe that was
Fuck you.
Maybe that was this thing Barnes & Noble was doing. I don't know.
I don't know. I guess so.
On the next page, we have them trying to work out the spines.
Yeah.
And my God, are some of them horrific.
Yeah, they're pretty. There's some weird ones. They basically tried every possible contingency to keep the maple fin spines, or the Christmas tree, as Gareth Edwards calls them.
But they just wound up not, because in the final film we have very triangular spines.
Well, we have very 2000 spines.
Me and Bill kind of realized this conspiracy the other night. Because Gareth Edwards is a fan and was first introduced to the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla.
Oh, this is so true.
And in the final film, we have a Godzilla who is actually similar to the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla because he has very triangular spines. He's a little bit more greenish in color. The head is a little bit smaller. What else? The feet on Hanna-Barbera.
He's more heroic.
The feet on Hanna-Barbera have this weird thing going on and then in the movie we have the stubby feet.
Also, the spines are very focused towards the center.
Just like on Hanna-Barbera.
The spines around them aren't very big.
His atomic breath has more of a fiery look to it, and Hanna-Barbera literally shoots fire. Also, Hanna-Barbera is kind of portly.
He is a bit fat. Also, Godzilla's walk cycle sometimes looks like the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla.
Indeed. So that is I don't care what this book says. That's the secret conspiracy about Godzilla.
They just made a realistic version of Hanna-Barbera Godzilla.
And they cut out the eye beams, thank God.
Oh, come on, that would have been awesome. Instead of the atomic breath, he's just like, bah, wah, wah, wah. I remember when I first saw the Hanna-Barbera show, I remember the kid described Godzilla's laser beams, and he said laser beam eyes. But you know what I heard when I first heard that? I thought he said rays of demise.
Whoa, that would actually be pretty badass.
So I thought for years that's what they were called.
Godzilla, use your rays of demise.
And I was like, whoa, that's badass.
That is pretty badass.
Godzilla's rays of demise.
Well, think about it, though. Think about the plot of the movie. Much of the movie consists of the Navy following Godzilla on a boat.
Oh, that's so... Oh, my God.
All it's missing is Katsuki.
The monsters are from originals and not Toho monsters?
They are. My God, Ermagerd.
Ermagerd.
It's the story of a scientist following Godzilla on a boat and watching him.
Oh my God!
And watching him fight kaiju. It's Hanna-Barbera's Godzilla the movie. Why didn't I realize this before?
Yeah, that's the title. Hanna-Barbera's Godzilla, the movie motion picture event of the summer.
The video game. The video game.
Yeah. Gareth Edwards' Hanna-Barbera's Godzilla. The movie motion picture in 3D.
The game.
Of the movie. The game of the movie. The official game of the movie.
In 3D.
That was so unnecessary for that fucking Kong game. We can't just call it King Kong, the game. Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie. What the fuck?
Can't get any more official than that title. We just want you to know...
Was there another game called King Kong?
We just want you to know that this is the real Kong game. Will the real Kong game please stand up?
Do you think that they were trying to avoid, like, the Donkey Kong thing? Like, people thought it was a Donkey Kong game?
No, because King Kong is nothing like Donkey Kong.
Except for the name.
That's barely a resemblance.
That's a circumstance. But I mean, obviously, that's where Donkey Kong got his name from, right? It's a reference to King Kong.
I think so, yeah, but still, it's most.
I mean, Bowser is basically Godzilla mixed with Gamera.
I mean, look, I have no faith in humanity. I'll be the first one to tell you that humans are fucking idiots. But I don't think anybody was going to mix up that King Kong game for a Donkey Kong game.
Oh, no, you know somebody must have. Some idiot fucking went and was like, oh, it's a Donkey Kong game, right? It's the host.
Ooh, it's the host. I'm going to fight alligators.
What? Oh, okay.
Donkey Kong.
That was a Donkey Kong. I haven't played that. That drivel.
I haven't played Donkey Kong since Donkey Kong 64. I'm really out of touch.
I don't care.
The next page is really fucking beautiful.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of these spines.
Oh yes.
Some of them are fucked up. They tried like the porcupine spines, and they look horrible.
The first like 5 are really good. After that, I'm like, what's going on?
What's happening? They look like leaves, or like the second one. The second one from the right, I don't understand.
It looks like a shell.
Is that from the Fish Godzilla?
It looks like a shell that you would find on the beach. A lot of these do.
It looks like a pot leaf inside of a fish's fin.
These look like undersea organisms, like sea urchins and shit. Like, they don't look like spines at all. They look like fucking sand dollars. I'm like,
yeah, they almost look like coral.
The last one's weird too.
Yeah, the last one works though.
What's going on?
I mean, it looks like it's made of like rock, but at least it works.
I feel like that's the closest to what they actually wound up with in the movie, because you see how unlike a lot of the others, it doesn't really have an organized like shape, because the spines in the movie are very like chaotic, like they're not all the same shape. They're just,
yeah, again, very much like 2000.
They're just like crazy and all over the place.
They're just crazy.
Just crazy.
My ma called it shining. Scatman Crothers narrates Godzilla. You see, there's Godzilla. He's coming out of the water. He's now on the land. He's roaring. My grandmother called it roaring.
Robin Williams watches Godzilla. It's a muto.
Scatman Crothers narrates the Godzilla scenes while Robin Williams narrates the Muto scenes until finally they come together. Oh, Scatman Crothers! Oh,
the Mutos!
It's you, Robin Williams!
Oh, the Mutos is flying towards Godzilla. Oh, he just tail whipped him.
He just impaled him on that building.
Oh.
He's dead. Oh God!
The nuclear bomb went off. Oh.
Ford's falling asleep.
Where are Ford and what's that guy's name?
Dr. Serizawa?
No, what's Bryan Cranston's character's name?
Joe Brody.
Oh yeah, Joe. Where are Ford and Joe going? Oh, it's the house. Oh.
He sounds deranged. I was like, oh, it's the house. Oh.
Oh, there's dogs. Oh.
Oh God, I can't. Because Godzilla's like with the opening credits, he's like, "Look, Godzilla got hit by an atomic bomb.
They blew it up." Oh.
You damn dirty apes!
Dear Robin Williams, this is Jerry Lewis.
I just like to let you know that in the new Godzilla motion picture, Advent of the Summer in 3D...
With the exploding and the bombs and the hoy and the badness.
And the badness. Godzilla did not fight dogs. That's not what he said. Jerry Lewis.
That's not what I said. Oh.
Yeah, he didn't talk about dogs. He was talking about the Mudos.
Her belly was shining.
My mother said it was shining.
The train was on fire.
She's making a nest for her eggs. And do you know what her eggs are going to be? What? Shining. This has run its course. Well, let's go to the next page.
Insert arbitrary Patch Adams reference here. Oh.
You know, I became a doctor because I saw Patch Adams. That's not House. That's more like Christian Slater.
Yeah, what voice are you doing?
You see, I became a doctor because I'm Christian Slater.
I became a doctor so that I could make people sign my ass.
You can just sign my... Wait, why would you become a doctor to have people sign your ass?
It's a good question. Doesn't it make any sense?
Oh, why would you do that?
But no, in all seriousness, this page is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, the design isn't really the final one. He looks a little bit more...
It's not the final one at all, but it's beautiful.
It's awesome. Is this when they were still talking about Godzilla being 600 feet tall?
It might have been, because he's quite a bit taller than those buildings there. Yeah. And I've recently found out that 300 feet isn't exactly as high as I thought it was.
No, it's actually surprising how small Godzilla really is in comparison to the buildings.
Yeah. Like, can you imagine if they had done classic-size Godzilla in this movie?
He'd be like minuscule.
He would be able to climb the buildings like King Kong did in 33.
Right?
That's how the scale has changed.
Right? Imagine Kong. You wouldn't even be able to see him.
Godzilla on top of a modern building being shot at by airplanes.
The airplanes aren't even to scale. They're, like, gigantic.
He's on the roof.
Godzilla's climbing the building.
I call it climbing.
My grandmother called it climbing.
Your grandmother just has a lot of really obvious names for things, doesn't she?
Yeah, my grandmother called it naming.
No, but seriously, this is a really beautiful image. I like the little helicopters over here, desperately trying to make a dent.
They're just, you just gotta be like, Godzilla's like, why are you even doing that, man? What's up with you?
You're just wasting your time. I like this head.
Why are you shooting at Godzilla?
If we hadn't had the head that was in the movie, I would have been happy with this one too. He's actually got the ear thing.
It looks fine. I just don't like the extra.
He's actually got the ear thing going on.
He does. I wish they would have kept that. I like a Godzilla with ears. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because this is really the last page that goes into the alternate Godzilla designs, and also we're really far in, so we got to kind of wrap this up. But Gareth Edwards makes a point when he talks about designing the male Muto and his wings that in the final movie it almost looks like he has a cape.
Yeah. I love that image.
I love that too. It looks awesome. But anyway, I love this book to death. I think it's great. I'm glad I finally bought it.
It is
I now own almost all of the, book merch. I think I own all the book merchandise that came out with 2014.
Well,
I have this, I have Awakening, and I have the novel.
I don't have the novel, and my Awakening is a digital copy. But I love the hell out of this.
That is why you fail.
And now that I also have, from G-Fest, the beautiful Art of Japanese Monsters book by Sean Lincolnback with help from Ed Godrzewski, I feel as though my kaiju collection has grown by leaps and bounds.
They had a book that I didn't expect them to have at Barnes & Noble when I bought this. They had a Master of Monsters, E.G. Tsuburaya.
Really?
I almost bought it, but it was another $45, and I was like, yeah, not right now. But I'm gonna buy it because it's gorgeous.
That sounds really interesting. I might track that down. I have a similar book
it covers everything. I mean, it covers his World War II stuff. It covers, of course, the original Godzilla. It covers Ultra Q, Ultraman.
You could learn something, Bill.
Yeah.
About them Ultra fellers.
Them Ultra fellers. My grandmother called them Ultraman. She called them Ultraman? Yeah.
Ooh, they transform. Oh.
Nah, Robin Williams, that's a Transformer.
I know we're running on a little long here. Maybe next time we can get into the Muto designs, because there's some interesting variations.
Yeah, we can maybe do that next time.
There's some interesting variations here. There a lot of them are very gorilla-esque.
Yeah, especially with the female. The male looks more, well, they tried to go for some more parasitic designs, too.
Yeah, most of the male designs, the early ones, they're more insect-like than what we wound up with. Like,
yeah, the female was like a gorilla reptile. She almost looked like a leatherback.
One of these male designs, you could literally just color it the right way, and it would be Mothra.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, based on the descriptor of the little teaser that they showed for Godzilla 2. I mean, that's basically what they're doing. They're just doing a big, real moth and calling it Mothra.
All right.
All right, then.
Seems like the obvious way to do things.
Well done, Legendary, on the creativity.
Indeed.
So, we got quite a bit to announce, or at least I do, but I'm sure you will as well.
What
the first
things
thing and
you're
the biggest
announcing I'm involved with?
Yeah, indeed. So it's kind of fitting. So let's start with the thing that's coming up the most recently. So coming up this coming week is, of course, the 1-year anniversary of the Sons of Serizawa podcast, and we are going to celebrate it with all of the enigmatic, wonder that you would expect. It might not go up on the actual day that we hit 1 year is August 6th.
Actually, it's more like all the sardonic wonder that they would
yeah, I guess so.
they've come to expect.
Yeah, indeed. It probably won't go up on the day. It'll probably go up a couple days afterwards, just because this one's going to take some editing, and you know how long that takes me. So I'm not sure when exactly it'll go up. I'm hoping it'll go up before the 10th. That's my goal.
Bill wants to be a filmmaker. Editing is somebody else's bag.
Listen, I'm a writer-director. I sit in a chair and order people to do things. I don't even hold the camera in my profession. That's somebody else's job. I just sit in a chair and order people. It's a beautiful thing. And then I write. That's it. It's a great life. You should try it sometime.
The days of the guys who actually shot their own shit are way over.
I know, right? That was like 4 dudes. Like, there's shots of, like, them, like, actually shooting stuff in Art of Destruction. It's like Gareth Edwards is nowhere to be seen.
Then you look at, like, old school movies, and Alfred Hitchcock would be holding a camera, and you're like, this makes everyone look lazy.
I don't think I've ever seen a picture of Alfred Hitchcock holding a camera.
You haven't?
I can't imagine that.
I have. I've also...
See, because I don't imagine him as like the prototypical movie director, because the prototypical movie director to me is Steven Spielberg. And he has that very, like, casually dressed thing going on.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas Hitchcock is, like, wearing a suit.
Alfred Hitchcock was this motherfucker who always wore a suit, and I really admire that.
Hey, you're the suit-wearing dude. If you're Hitchcock and I'm Spielberg, it's like, you know me, I dress shorts and a t-shirt every day.
Right, yeah.
You're like, you know why I still go to church, Bill? Why? Because I like to put on a suit.
I don't put on a suit every fucking time. Usually just Easter.
Oh, okay. I don't even do it then.
The occasional wedding and funeral. Because those just sort of pop up every now and then.
And you start killing family members just to go to funerals so you can put a suit on.
There's an idea.
So the SOS 1-year anniversary is coming up soon. We may need some help from you fans out there to make it come together in just the way that we want. We'll put more information up on the Facebook page of Toho Nation and the Sons of Serizawa Network homepage, which you should like for more updates on all this stuff. But we may need your help.
You can help us. You can be a pal. Be a pal.
Be a pal. Well, I'm not your pal, friend.
I'm not your friend, guy.
I'm not your guy, buddy.
I'm not your buddy, friend.
So SOS 1 year anniversary, that's coming up soon, and it'll be big. It'll be bigger than Liam Neeson's cock.
Whoa.
Whoa!
That's quite the boast there, Bill.
I know, right?
I don't think we can live up to the expectation that you have just planted in their heads.
Our 1 year anniversary is not that far off either. We still got a couple months, but I don't know, what are we gonna do for that, Dylan? I mean, what are we gonna celebrate? This show isn't exactly like energetic.
I don't know, man. How are we gonna celebrate this show?
We're both too old. We're not really old, but we feel old.
That would also be like with the SOS, it's like a group thing. With this show, it's
like that's a big with us. It's just two guys who just talk about bullshit.
No, and even worse, it's like with us, it's two guys who are like, we're celebrating our 1 year anniversary.
Isn't everybody excited? Just two of us.
Where's my cake?
We'll probably do something a little bit more low key for our 1 year anniversary, but even still. SOS is going to be big.
Yeah, the SOS one will have like hookers and blow.
Yeah, indeed, and bitches leave. So that's the SOS thing, and there'll be more on that to come. But the other big thing that we've been announced, this is more of a DFOS thing, is Godzilla Odyssey.
Oh, that's coming, and so are you.
That's coming hard and fast.
Oh, fast, really?
Finally, the first issue of Godzilla Odyssey has been completed.
You don't understand how much of an accomplishment that is, everyone.
This was a struggle. This was a war.
The struggle has been real.
Struggle was real.
Poor Bill.
Poor me.
Has been writing that thing forever, and I've been just writing his ass. Just like, you need to write that shit.
This was completely... Usually I'm writing Dylan's ass to give me shit.
Yeah, like...
And then all of a sudden it's like, Bill, finish that issue. And I'm like, all right.
Usually Bill's like, hey, you need to, like, edit episode 10 of Kaiju Spotlight. And I'm like...
Yeah, you do need to do that, though, Dylan.
And I'm like, but this time it was like, Bill, what's wrong, man? Where's your shit? And he was like,
Yeah, that's the noise I made. Was, I just sounded like a retarded monkey jerking off. That's exactly what it was.
Anyway,
Humpy the whale. Godzilla Odyssey is coming. I imagine, and this is projection, so forgive me. I think if all goes according to plan, which it almost never does, kids, we will have the first issue up and ready for you to read in 2 weeks. I think that seems like a good projection.
2 weeks, yeah. That's enough time for us to fix all the mistakes.
Because there's a couple. To prepare how we want to present our baby to the world. And we will release it.
Is that what we're calling it now? It's our baby.
I imagine so. It's our child. It's our beautiful Mexican child.
It feels like it's been 9 months.
We came up with that in March, I think. We were still in the teens of this show. We were still teenagers, Dylan. Now we're in our mid-30s.
My God, Bill. How time has flown.
No. Our beautiful Mexican child is getting older.
This is a beautiful moment.
This is a happy moment.
A happy moment.
So again, as always, more to come on that as it develops.
Yeah.
But it's coming hard and coming fast. I hope you enjoy it when it finally reaches.
As opposed to slow and softly.
Indeed. Anyway, so is there anything else we have to announce? I mean, we got Godzilla Odyssey. I did a whole update video announcing shit, so you can just go watch that if you want to know what's going on with my shit.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I've got coming up is an episode of Kaiju Spotlight that I need to edit and have needed to edit for a while.
I mean, you've had this. We recorded that audio the night we did the review for Godzilla 2014.
Indeed. So that's a thing that needs to happen. So
you need to do it, Dylan.
So be on the lookout for that.
some point in the coming future.
Bill's enjoying his revenge of being the one who's like, now you need to finish your shit, Bill.
Yeah, I call you Bill. I don't know why.
That was fucked up.
Yeah, Bill.
No, but
You start calling me Dylan. It's just a weird mishmash of insanity.
Yeah, I got that. I got Odyssey. I'm on the podcast every week. If you can't get enough of the sultry sound of my voice, and
you probably have more of that.
What?
Of the whole like pleasant sounding voice thing of the two of us. I've got that abrasive, like high pitched New York accent thing.
Yeah, see, Andres does he does like radio and
Andres. I would like make love to Andres' voice, man. It's like fucking. He's like Tom Jones and shit.
This has gone pretty far. No, what I was going to say is Andres has like a radio announcer voice. Whereas if my voice was on the radio, it would be more of like late night, I'm playing some sex songs. This one goes out to all you lovers out there.
And I'm like, hey, this is Joel Catalano from Nissan's Big Three.
This is Jerry Lewis.
Here to announce the next big thing. Oh, Dylan, by the way, I saw that image you just sent me on Facebook. It's very nice.
Oh, yes. I think it looks quite good. Quite good indeed.
It looks really good.
Yes.
It fits the shading. Which is cool.
I like it.
I like it, too. I like it very much.
Happy moment.
Happy moment, indeed. So without any further ado, I think that is going to do it. So until next time. I'm Bill Worster.
And I'm SuperDM64. Everyone go out and watch Breaking Bad and have an A1 day.
Indeed. And as always, dem Germans, they be fucked up.